please, keep going.
All right, Matthew, let me know when you got me. If you can hear me.
That's a serious axle protector on that bad boy.
And Steve.
I fucking hate those.
I know you got me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was a pretty bird.
Some people do some serious stuff to their cars, man. Personalized license plate right here,
Let
too.
me see if I got you.
All right, well,
Demand.
it is Thursday,
Wow.
so we are
No,
live, and
that's the last
everyone
name.
knows what
That's still good, though.
it means.
D.
Throw it out there Thursday. We have a special guest in the building. The one and only George Hamill himself. The dirt life.
Hi, guys.
Living in the flesh. Justin, what's going on today, man?
How's it going, guys? I don't know what that was. It's kind of how's it going? So if I can learn how to talk real quick, this might go pretty well. It's actually a good start for a throw it out there Thursday. I can't talk.
There's all that barbecue sauce we just had for Doug's birthday. It's got us all,
Starting
feeling
Justin didn't get the 40 ounces of freedom.
No, yeah, that's an inside joke. All right, we had a birthday today, and everybody gets a 40 ouncer around here when it's their birthday. They just have to finish it before they go back to work, and that usually doesn't work out very well. But throw it out there Thursday, you guys. That means throw out all the questions you have. We'll try and start and stop and answer those. But while we're using your questions for a go-to as we go through this feed, we're going to use one other subject at the same time to kind of push us through. And that is how to race an RS1. Excuse me.
This RS1.
That's right, that one in particular. And what we mean by how to race an RS1 isn't how are you going to drive it. We're not going to tell you how to be a good race car driver. And you know what? In order for me to tell you how to do that, I'd have to be a good one. So that means it's not going to happen.
So
Don't sell yourself short, Justin.
What we are going to do is we're going to give you a kind of a list of things that you're going to need to do if your RS1 was pretty much stock and you wanted to go racing it next week.
Yeah, like an entry-level race or something, yeah.
Yeah, entry level. So entry level being kind of a really
It's a vague word,
You're going to spend some money no matter what.
I was going over that little budget sheet that we got here, and it is pretty deep already.
Yeah, I think just looking at the high points, you're probably 30 or 40 grand to do this. But I think when in the scheme of racing, that's pretty cheap, especially if you start off with a car like an RS1 that you can be 12 or 13 grand into.
100%.
But while we're kind of going through, what we're going to do is go through the list of parts that you guys are going to need to do to try and be legal for a utility or rally class. Rally class being not as strict as some of the pro classes in most of our racing than Best of Desert Score. Something that's a little bit more affordable. So George, you've got a list. Why don't you grab that if you have it someplace handy?
Real quick, Justin, we got Robbie Fraser. You guys are awesome. Love the videos. Keep on keeping on.
Oh, thank you.
Shout out to you, Justin.
Mega Desert Diesel is also in the room. We also got Shane Falconberry.
Shane, how's it going? Mega, how's it going?
Old Shane.
Yeah.
So this list is just the beginning.
You guys want to screenshot that for later.
Yeah, screenshot that bad boy. It's an Excel spreadsheet, so I could send it, but please don't bombard my Instagram.
It doesn't look too much like an Excel spreadsheet.
But, well, I'm not trying to add all this up. The reason I did it in Excel was because I wanted to press that one button so it would do it all for me.
Before we start on this list, though, I want to kind of let everybody know what George is up to.
Yeah.
So make sure that you guys tune in to his Dirt Life feed, because he's going to kind of go through the process of turning this car into a race car one stage at a time and address some of the parts that are getting put on it, all leading up to one thing, and that is you getting back to racing. And even more important than that, actually your first race will be the race that took you out or almost took you out.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? So first of all, I want to thank you and everybody that's come on board to motivate me to be able to do this. But last year I almost lost my life at the UTV World Championship, but this year we're going to show who's boss, right?
Back in the saddle.
Yeah, so the little quote I wanted to do was, I'm not out there to win the race this year, I'm out there to win a life. So I think it's a really cool little thing to be able to do, because I've already actually had people say, oh dude, you could still win, right? But that's not what I'm there for. Like, I'm there to hang out with all you guys, have a good time with the industry people, and probably eat some tacos.
Definitely, that's for sure. But I think it's incredible that you can get back in the saddle after the accident that you had. So we're excited to be a part of it, and there's a whole bunch of other people that are also on this list of parts that are jumping on board with this project. So as you guys see some of these things going on the car over the next few days, weeks, make sure you support the guys that support George.
Yeah, 100%. And there are also some partners that you have as well. So it's nice to be able to have all those people. And like I said, thank you very much for initiating this. And Craig Scanlon.
Yeah, let's start off with the big one.
Yeah.
I mean, this car came from Craig Scanlon's garage. And if you guys don't know who Craig is, he used to run Polaris, now he runs 4 Parts. Still has a big hand in the industry and also races with us.
Yep.
And George can put more to that.
So Craig and I, it actually just came like, just kind of random. We went on a bicycle ride in Southern California, and he just started talking to me about the UTV World Championship, saying, well, you know, do you want to race the UTV World Championship? I told him, no, I'm not really into it. Like, I'm having such a great time with the Dirt Life show, and I want to just make sure that I keep everybody happy, right? I want to have a good time with the industry. So I'll go to the UTV World Championship, and I'll still, you know, film and do a bunch of fun stuff, but I don't think I need a race. And he goes, dude, you're going to really want to be there and to be part of it and participating when you see all these posts on social media. So I told him, you know what, let me think about it. So a couple weeks went by, and I said, you know what, I'll do it. But like I said, it was kind of with my motto saying, I'm not there to win the race, I'm there to win it life. So I think it's going to be a really cool little deal, and I thank him very much for offering this RS1 up for me and being able to drive it. I actually did a couple phone calls. I called Justin and I called a few other guys to see if it was fun to drive, and they said it was a blast. So that was one of the things that changed my mind about it. So I'm glad that we're going to be able to do it. So it was a cool little project to start too, because everybody wanted to get involved. KMC is going to get involved, do some wheels. EFX Tires going to put some tires on this bad boy. Travis Zollinger of Zollinger Racing Products is going to put tie rods, radius rods, and knuckles on the back as well. So that's going to be fun. We're going to install those. And then obviously Justin and one of his partners, he got Fox to be able to donate some shocks. And so they're going to get this thing all dialed in, riding nice and smooth, so it can make me comfy out there on the race course. And I think you said Evo was going to put a tune on it too?
Absolutely, Evo's jumping on it too. Do you already have the radios and comms handled, George?
I think they are.
Awesome.
So Craig has some stuff in here already. So
awesome. Well, I think you got a hell of a car straight away from Craig's garage.
Yeah,
it really helps a lot. But maybe we should jump into the parts that people are going to have to know and use when they're going to do this themselves. So some of the stuff that was on this car to begin with, that you're going to want to make sure that you have. You're starting with a stock car. First off, you're going to need to have some sort of arm system on the car. It doesn't have to be long travel, but it has to be strong. Typically, you're not going to be able to use factory upper and lower control arms on most of the stock UTVs.
With the ball joints and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the ball joints are a weak spot, and you really want to try and run something that's got something stronger than that. So pick your long travel, or even not long travel, but control arm of choice when you're going to upgrade that section of the car.
And I know that a lot of RS1 guys that are doing it for works and stuff, they actually like keeping the stock width. Yeah.
And that's I don't think that the long travel is as important as the strong arm is.
Right.
So if you can run the stock width, you can run wider if you want to. But
do you have suspension tuning for both long travel and stock width?
Absolutely. So typically we've got internal shock work, and we've got spring kits both for long travel and stock width. Then we've got them for different long travel kits, because a lot of the guys are going to change shock locations, and we've got notes for that too. So this car came with long travel on it from SDR. It's still got stock shock and stock spring, but we're going to address that with some of the stuff that we do. Fox is jumping on board. We're going to have RC2s on this. We're going to be throwing IQS at it, as well as spring and valving to make this thing perfect.
I gotta say, man, when you said the Fox guys were on board, I was so pumped, man. And that is super cool that they wanted to do that.
Let me tell you, George, it took about 15 minutes for my email to get returned.
Really?
Yes.
Dude, that is amazing. Thank you, guys.
Rick Strobel at Fox was like, thank you for having us involved. The shocks are on their way today.
That is so cool, man.
So they jumped right on it.
It literally just gave me goosebumps thinking about that.
That's really, really cool. Those guys are all about it. This car's also got Rhino axles on it. I would suggest that you put a good set of axles on anything you're going to race, no matter what. It's got radius rods on it with big rod ends, chromoly radius rods. That's a must. Make sure you do those things on any stock car.
These ones we're going to actually replace with some Zollinger Racing Products ones. He has sending over some 70-75 billet aluminum ones that have a high clearance on the bottom as well.
Perfect, even better.
And then he was going to put some knuckles on the rear as well.
So complete rear hub and bearing assembly from ZRP.
Yeah, and they have the locked-in
bearing assembly.
Yeah.
Yep, and upper and lower, yeah, exactly. They've got all the upgrades for all the weak spots that some of the race guys have found in the stock stuff. Next, you're going to want to have a radio and intercom in the car. Now, luckily, Craig's car came with it, so we're not going to have to go out and do that. But one thing that we might do is we might have to program the radio to get the frequencies that we want for the team and for that specific race. So,
and I know that you guys use PCI, but Rugged is one of our partners, and we're going to just have them do it at the races.
And we like Rugged as well, and they do a great job. So we'll get all of our frequencies in it, and since we're probably going to be running with you.
Craig even had a pumper in there too, so that's pretty dialed for me.
So clean air system is a must if you're going racing, no matter what. You have to have it.
Not the type of pumper I thought Craig had.
So definitely have to have some clean air because you're going to be in the dust. It's a must with your helmet systems.
One thing that I'm working on right now is the doors. So IMG is going to help us out. I still have to buy them, but they're going to help us out with some doors. So there'll be solid doors that go all the way across, and they'll latch. And then what we'll do is we'll just secure them
shut.
Yeah, we'll just secure them all the way shut.
So that's something that everybody should know. In order to run even the rally class, you guys have to have.
So it can't
open. Door.
It can't be locked. It can't open at all, and it has to be up to your shoulder.
And you have to pin the thing shut so it can't open on its own or in a wreck.
Right. Window
seats
nets.
and belts.
Yep, and window nets. Yep.
The seat that's in this and the belts that we're running there, George?
So these belts aren't the ones that we're going to run, but this is just the NRG seat that we actually had in my other car, the Unicorn. So I just took this out, mounted it in here, but we're going to run some actually SFI certified harnesses to make sure that they're race legal, and those usually have a specific date on them, and the date is stamped on them or punch marked on them, and the tech registration will always check your vehicle before you get out on the race course to make sure that your seatbelts aren't old or beat up.
You know, George, one of the biggest things that we're kind of overlooking right now is the cage.
We had people on here, stock cage, and Daniel Gonza, notice that's an SDR cage.
Yeah, he's right. So that's exactly what Justin was going to say. So I actually had SDR reach out, and they're going to actually replace these lower rear trailing arms as well, because they have a new version 2 that's a little bit more made for racing.
Nice.
So that'll be cool. Version. And this cage is not a race legal race cage.
You a bad boy.
I know, right? But it is legal for an entry-level type thing, like what we're going to do at the UTV World Championship racing the short course class. So it is legal for that, and it's legal for series like AZOP and other low-level series like maybe the Dirt Series in California and things like that. So if you want to get into an entry-level car, it's a really, really good thing to make sure you don't have a stock cage.
So the difference between, say, this cage and what they're going to require in a pro class is in the pro class it's going to be thicker diameter material up on the main hoop. They're also going to have X bracing like we have here, cross tubes or gussets in all the cage corners, and it cannot bolt on, it has to weld on. There's a few other things that they ask for. There's an X behind your head that they require. So it's just a little bit more structure for the classes that are going to be a little faster.
And there's a lot of structure in this area too.
There's a lot of requirements, you're right. In the pro classes you can't have an opening door because it's all going to be cage tubing instead. What else you got on the list there?
There's actually a whole bunch of stuff on here that, like I said, if people want to check it out, they can screenshot this bad boy. Wheels and tires is always a must.
Yeah, so pick your favorite wheel and tire of choice, but if you're going to listen to any of our advice, I'm going to go with Method and Tenzer first. With any of the stuff that we race. Now, George, you've got a wheel supplier and tire supplier that you like to use too.
Yep, so KMC is going to be outfitting this car with, so I think some grenade beadlocks, and then you suggested an offset that's going to fit this car a little bit better.
Yeah, an RS1 would prefer a 4-1, 5-1, or 6-1 wheel offset. A 5-2 I wouldn't really push, and definitely you should be running a 4-3. So the offset that's on it currently is not the right offset, and that's going to be changed.
So it doesn't matter who you rep, boys, as long as you got the right offset.
So yeah, but I do want to thank the guys over at KMC and Wheel Pros, because they said they were going to hook us up with some wheels and tires. So thank you very much, Ryan Edwards, and also Ryan at EFX Tires. He's going to hook us up with some tires. And as far as what's legal in this class that we're going to race, you can't go above a 30-inch tire. These actually that are on here right now are 32s, so it's going to be a little bit smaller tire. And I think that's something that's important when you do the suspension setup, right?
Yeah, we need to know that in advance, because we're going to set the car up completely different since it will have less ride height and less ground clearance. We need to have the shock set up accordingly. Now, normally we would want to see the car run a 32 or bigger, and if you're running in the rally class, then you could definitely run a 32. But so it does depend, if you guys are thinking about what you're going to do on your car, which class you're in, you need to look up the rules. But I'd like to see the most tire you could throw at it, not a 35, but a 32 or 33, if you can do it in that class.
So let me ask you a question. Since I don't usually drive a belt-driven car, I usually drive a Yamaha, but What is the difference in what I need to do with the clutching and the belt?
A big boy's car is what he meant to say.
Mine's called the Unicorn, so I don't know if it's that much of a big boy. But what's the difference I need to do with clutching depending on the size of the tire?
So clutching is super important with any of the stuff that's being raced. You cannot worry about belt temps if you want to be competitive in any of this. Tuning the clutch is super important to keep the temps right. We'll play with it as well. So will Todd from Evo, because they're going to have a clutch basically set up for their horsepower. And they can also change that setup according to tire height. But in general, you guys, you're going to want to make sure the clutching is tuned perfectly for the horsepower and tire. It's a good point that George brings up. I'm not the one to tell you exactly how to do it. I mean, we do our own, but I'm not a clutch tuning guy.
Yeah.
Steve, what do you got?
So, loving me some Larry.
Ooh.
Are the Tensor DS33s a durable tire and worth the money? We were talking about tires, so I figured I'd throw it out there.
I really like a Tensor. The 33s are what we're actually racing. These are 32 DSs that are on this car right now, and we used to race that tire too. They do last quite a bit. What do you got? Oh, this is the, I'm about to get someone signing in.
It.
Chase is giving me sign
Ladies and
language
gentlemen,
again.
Hey, you're not supposed to talk about the sign.
doing
Come
it.
on, people.
So in the meantime, while you're trying to get somebody, because you don't have anyone yet,
Nope.
according to your sign language, you guys want to consider, some horsepower, because everybody else that's racing has got some. So we're going to have Todd and Jim over at Evo, and they're going to be involved in making some power in your car.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for lining that up. That's awesome that those guys are going to be able to jump on board too.
They're great guys.
So I called you and I told you I unloaded it off the car and I just did a lap around my neighborhood and I was like, man, this thing doesn't feel like it's very fast. And you said, I got you covered, man. I'm going to call these guys.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to drive it after it's got everything set up and it's got some
Sweet.
horsepower too.
Hold on, boys. We got a very important question here. It's from Frank G Life, our boy.
I did see that.
Steve, you want to take this away?
Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do.
I have to, it's Frank G, so I got to make
Frank
sure
G,
he knows.
What's up, dude? Why do most wheel manufacturers not make a double-sided bead lock?
There's two reasons for that. Typically, the wheel is very close to the arm, like upper ball joint and lower ball joint. It can be a clearance issue when the tire is fully turned. That's number one. Number two, it's a lot of weight. It really adds a ton to it, and most UTVs are concerned about that, certainly in racing. Number three, the inside bead lock typically is not something that you're ever going to hurt unless you run really low tire pressures. And tire pressures are going up and up and up.
Yeah, big time.
In the dunes, in racing, everyone's starting to run stuff up in the 20s. In the dunes, are running things in the teens and 18s, almost 20 pounds. So an inside bead lock, inside bead is just not something you ruin anymore. And that's one of the reasons. What do you got? Just say it.
Oh, so Steve-O, our boy,
Yeah, what's up,
he wants
Steve-O?
to know, he said, hey, what's up with Brooks' car?
Oh, that's right. So you guys might see in the background, we've got a fellow racer in the house. And that's Brooke. Is it D-Man or Demon? D-Man. D-Man. I'm sorry, Brooke. I might have butchered that for you, but so Brooke is a sponsored racer for Shock Therapy and many other people, and we are in the middle of putting on new IQS, a new shock setup, and a whole bunch of other stuff like billet rack and pinion, and radius rod supports, TLS kits, all kinds of stuff going on to her car, and we're going to be doing some testing next week before we kind of turn her loose to go and make all the boys in racing look really bad.
I got a question from Pamela Payne Ward. The RS1 wants to know what sway bars will they be running?
So the RS1 is going to run stock sway bars front and rear. The reason is the stock sway bars are pretty decent for a lightweight car. We don't have to run much more bar. Go ahead, Chase.
Justin, we got something cool going on here. Frontline Power Sports. It looks like they're out at Glamis, man.
Oh man, tuning in from the sand?
We're in Oregon.
Oregon, hell yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in out there. You guys are having a better time than we are. That's guaranteed. Look at that.
Heck yeah.
What's your question, Ben?
Hello.
You guys got a question, or are you guys just showing us how much better of a day you're having than us right now?
Both.
What's your question?
I just got in on this. I heard you talking about air pressure.
Yes.
So in the sand with like molded tires, if you get too high in the air pressure, it makes it chop, like almost like if your dirt tires are too high at air pressure, you get that bouncing feel like if your truck tires are not aired down.
Yep.
Wheel hop.
You are correct.
Sorry for the noise.
No,
You're
you're all right, man. You are correct. you're not gonna like what I'm about to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. Molded tires are not the best sand tire, and then one of the reasons for that is sidewall construction and tread construction. And the reason when you start running air pressure up, you start getting choppy feeling. You're starting to feel the paddle bounce off the ground. So that's a design flaw in a paddle. You actually want the paddle to roll over itself slightly and inside the tire, as opposed to having that paddle rock hard and hitting dirt or hitting sand. You want that to flex and move, and that's why you don't get that feeling when you've got a Scat or a Sand Tire Unlimited tire. Those will actually allow some movement. It's all about sand transfer. So traction in the sand is not good if you have a tire that's rigid. If you have a tire that flexes, RPM can go up, more sand gets displaced from underneath the tire and shot out the back of the car than it would if it was directly tractioned up like a slick at a drag strip. So unfortunately, you're not going to have to run the air pressure up on yours. You probably don't want to because of the feel. If you had any of those other two tires, I think you're going to see more acceleration and more flotation, and then you could run the tire pressure up.
All right. Yeah, I run. They came with it when I bought it 2 years ago. The guy at Corona Motorworks from Ivan down there. I bought it from him.
Corona Motorsports, awesome.
Looking at the tire, it looks like a pretty short tire. Is that 27 or 26 inches tall?
29.
29. Okay, so if you do make a tire change in the future, then I would suggest something that's about 30 to 32 inches.
That's
And
the plan.
okay, perfect. And then you run less paddle on it, and you'll end up with the same tire speed and then more traction.
Like a 9 paddle talon?
Yeah, if you run like a 10, I would run if you run 10 paddles, I'd run a number 1 paddle, which is shorter. If you run 9, you might be able to get away with like a number 2.
Yeah, I have the Evo States 3-tune exhaust cat delete, so it's not.
Then you've got power, so that means you might even be able to run a 10 and a number 2. It's all about the power and paddle selection that make it fit.
Okay.
Get some tires and some dual rate springs on there, my friend, and you're gonna be hauling ass.
I talked to you last time about the suspension on this, and I looked at HCR makes the long travel plus 1 to the rear plus 2 to the front for wheelbase.
Yep, longer wheelbase is good.
I know it's the old school Maverick, but I just love it.
It's awesome, man. It's actually a really fun car.
It is.
Did we get you a shirt and stuff last time, or did Chase screw up?
Well, it's only
Chase
been like
screwed
2 days, so unless he overnighted it.
Well, hey, you got a riding partner there. Make sure you send us her shirt size. That way we can get you guys rocking some matching shirt out there.
All right, will do.
Hey, thanks for calling in. Have fun out there.
All right, you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Ride safe,
Thanks,
y'all.
Dude, the weather's probably super good up there.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect timing to go
yeah.
up in Oregon.
Look beautiful.
Absolutely, it looks nice.
Stevo714 said you need a 30 scat, man. Come on, Stevo. We know. We were telling him.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Justin, we got a question from Ryan Van Valkenburg. Van Valkenburg said, what is Justin's thoughts on the Glen Helen Best in the Desert race?
Dun, dun, dun. I know what George's thoughts are. Let's take the YXZ out there and kick some ass.
I love me some Glen Helen, even though I got hurt there.
Nothing wrong with corners and jumps. God.
Moto.
Yeah, I think that if you're into short course, then it's a great race to go to. If you're into desert racing, then it's
It's going to beat the shit out of cars.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to go, unfortunately, but fortunately, we're going to head down to Mexico and run the 500, and we usually do pretty well over there. What do you got, Matt?
That was it.
If we're going to go?
Are you going to the 500?
Yeah, so we're gonna skip Glen Helen because it's just not suited for our car. We're not interested in changing everything about it to make it competitive.
That dirt there is like ground up concrete, man. It just jacks stuff up too.
And everybody's gonna come around blind corners. No offense, being desert racers, not knowing how to short course, and they're gonna be wadded up at the bottom, and it's gonna be carnage. So I think we're gonna skip it and go down to Mexico. Not that that's any easier. It's basically a 500-mile San Felipe race, which is the hardest race in the world, I'd have to say. Go ahead, Chase.
We got Off the Grid Racing. What's going on, brother? Good to see you again. Where are you at today? You're obviously working. Good to see you masked up. What's your question, and what are you driving again, brother?
I got a XP Pro 4-seater.
Yep.
I'm thinking of putting the HCR long travel, and I wanted to see if I would put the, because it's not the Dynamics edition, so I wanted to see if the RC2s would work with the HCR long travel kit.
Absolutely, that is a perfect package for what you're talking about doing. You throw those HCRs on there, the HCR kit on there, then a set of RC2s are going to be like completely next level on that car. The walkers work great, especially after they're played with. But man, a set of RC2s are absolutely stellar. I would make that like 1 or 2 on your list of to-dos on your car next. You'll love it.
Is that the thing that you're going to do to the RS1?
It is, yeah. So I mean, even like your car's bigger, but on the RS1 we're going to run RC2s on it so we can go racing. And our RC2 package on that Pro is sick. You're going to love it.
Don't sweat not having the Dynamics because we got IQS to go with those RC2s.
Yeah, RC2s can be upgraded later on, so you're going to be in a good place if you go that direction.
Dang, that's sweet.
Yeah, that's perfect. But I just want to know, would you know by doing that, would I get the similar ground clearance as like say on the Turbo S? Because I go through more like rocky areas.
Normally the XP Pro with a 32-inch tire is about a 16-inch to 16.5-inch ride height range that we try to set the car up. So if you need a little bit more than that, you can actually set it a little bit higher. It's just going to ride a little bit stiffer, so consider that. But anywhere in that 16 to 17-inch range is perfect.
Okay, yeah, that's perfect. That's good to know.
Awesome, man. Thanks for calling in, and we'll send you another shirt if you remind Chase.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, man. What do you got, Steve?
So, Huggy AZ, Turbo S 4-seater with shock therapy spring kit and RIS. Justin, are there different ride heights whether you are doing desert, dunes, or trails?
So that's actually a really good question. So in the desert, we would probably have a 16 or 17-inch ride height for that car. In the dunes, typically when you put a paddle tire on it, the paddle tires are going to be shorter than that, and the car will automatically lower down without you changing the actual preloads on the car. That's what we want to happen. So you're not going to touch it, but it will lower when you put paddle tires on it. If you're a trail and you need more ground clearance than 17 inches, that'd be pretty rare and probably more rock crawling than a trail. But you can raise the car up to 18 and a half, but it's going to make it stiffer, and typically trails, you want it as soft as you can keep it. So I might suggest you leave it alone. What do you got, Matt?
John Strickland wants to know your thoughts on removing the front sway bar in a Razer Turbo S 4C when doing mostly trail riding.
Great. Take the bar off when you're trail riding, but make sure that you remember that's what you did when you get back out to the high-speed stuff. Because if you don't, then that thing will have so much body roll you might tip it over. So I would suggest you run a bar everywhere that's fast, and you run the no bar on the front in slow trail stuff.
Hold on, Jim Klein, you're coming up.
You got to put your hand out, Chase.
No, you go first.
Okay, thank you.
I'm giving him a warning.
509 Jedi. Were you guys involved in the development of the IQS system for the new Yamaha Wolverine R-Max?
So we were not involved in the development of IQS on that specific car. But we are involved in how IQS has grown and will be growing with accessories in all shapes and forms, which might end up on factory vehicles. So the answer to your question specifically is no, but long term, yes.
That's pretty cool, though, to see the industry coming up like that.
Yeah, it is.
Look at Chase. All right, I wish we had a camera on.
We got a present.
We got Jim live on the line. What's going on, Jim? We know you're at your garage. What are you driving in there? What's your question? And you're one of our top viewers all the time, man. We just want to give you a big what's up. Thanks for always tuning in.
Thank you, Jim.
Love you guys. Love your work. Got the XP Pro here.
Oh yeah, it looks a lot dirtier than your profile picture. You've obviously been driving it.
Well, not for a while, but we're going out, getting ready, just kind of loading up, getting ready to head up to Williams for the weekend.
Nice,
Awesome.
Williams. So high desert, Arizona.
Yeah, well, mountains.
Mountains? Oh, okay, gotcha.
What
So
can,
I just actually called this rub your guys' nose out that I'm getting out of town.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
I was just gonna
like him. Now I'm out.
I was just gonna say, I was like, man, I'm jealous.
So that means you're going to head up about halfway to Flagstaff. It's probably going to be like 78 degrees, maybe 80 degrees up there, huh?
I was looking at the forecast. It's actually, Williams has said 7,000 feet. It's 40 miles east of west of Flagstaff, and they're expecting 90 degrees over the weekend.
Hey, that's not bad. Not when we're 110, I'll take that all day long. So really,
My crew chief just went up to Pine Top, too. I'm jealous, man.
Pine Top, that's
know.
good too. I'm really going to go back to the fact that he's rubbing it in. He's kind of an ass.
What a jerk, man. Dude. You can come pick me up. I don't know if Justin's ready, but you can come pick me up. I got this RS1 to drive.
Yeah, you got somebody ready to jump in with you, that's for sure.
How's this car doing?
Yeah, hey, how is your car doing, by the way? You got our stuff on it?
Yeah, I got all your stuff done to it.
How's it riding right now?
I have not ridden it since President's Day.
Oh, okay.
I had back surgery, so this is the first trip out, so I'm hoping your stuff works well, so I can still ride.
Well, up in the mountains, man, turn a little bit soft start there and then work your way up. It should be badass.
We do easy riding up in the mountains. Wait till boy has to start pounding it.
Perfect, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for rubbing it in.
Right, have a good weekend, guys.
You too, man.
Hey, when
Take
you're
it
on
easy.
Williams, go check out Bearzona, man. Send us your t-shirt size, and we're gonna, in the direct messages, we'll send you out a shirt today.
Cool. Chase, go give Ernie a kiss for me.
I will. I'm gonna do that today. We'll see if we can get it done at the live end of the feed here. I'm gonna kiss Ernie.
Chase is
Yeah,
fired.
for sure.
Yeah, he's fired.
He's gonna get fired and decked.
Yeah. What do you got, Steve?
So I got a question from JHupZ24, and I believe this is the gentleman that told Brandon this morning that he didn't want me dancing on his car in the live feed. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like that's a challenge. But he said, what is the life expectancy of wear items on desert play cars, like clutch, axles, brakes, cars in the shop today, getting the shocks and springs done? Maybe some dancing too.
You won't? You might have to give me that list one more time, but I'll start off with clutch. So clutch, in my opinion, should be touched every 1,000 miles. Usually you're going to have things wear out quicker than that or right around that time, and if you let it go, you're going to lose a lot of belts. So clutch 1,000 miles, shocks every 2,500 to 3,500 miles, depending on how you run it. Ball joints, I replace ball joints on my pre-runner every 1,000. If you're not that hard on the car, you can go every 2,000. Axles, I'd probably go ahead and I would prep the CVs every 1,500 to 2,000 miles on a play car. We do it every 500 to 1,000 miles on the pre-runner. When you do prep the CVs, make sure that the axles stay in the same spot. Don't ever change their rotation. Make sure the axle stays there. Prep the CV. What else?
Depending on who they are, they can also look at if the boot has any holes or anything in it, because it's going to.
I mean, if you lose the boot,
then you're going to be toast for sure.
yeah, if you lose the boot, you're prepping it right away. I'm assuming you don't have anything leaking.
I've never heard of anybody asking how to service an axle unless they have grease coming out of the boot.
Yeah, true. So that means you're going to be putting a boot on it and servicing it.
Your theory's much.
Challenge accepted is what he told me.
Oh, really? Well, that means we're going to have some dancing.
We-
I feel like that's personal.
Your theory is much different than George's and I's, Justin, which is don't replace it if it's not broke.
Yeah,
And then don't replace it if it's not free.
I don't know.
we're more excessive, maybe.
I think Justin's method is a lot more racer oriented, which is fine, and that's the way we do all of our cars as well. But I know that a lot of trail riders do a lot less maintenance on their cars, but they still have a nice functioning vehicle.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to touch your car and just wait for stuff to break, then you can go twice as long as I said, and then just replace the stuff when it starts wearing out. But that's where I would start to be like, never have a problem on your list. What do you got, Matt?
I've actually got two questions from Chris Kramer and Chad Lennox. They're both asking basically the differences between IQS and Dynamics.
We've covered that a lot, but I'll go over it really, really quick. Okay, Dynamics uses sensor input to make changes in the shocks according to steering, brakes, throttle, and an accelerometer in the car, which means it can stiffen the system if you hit the brakes and stop a little bit of nosedive, stiffen the system in the back and stop some rear squat, same for cornering. It will not do it according to what you want. It will do it the way it's programmed. IQS is a driver-controlled system. You tell it to become stiffer. You tell it to become softer. It's not going to adjust it as you're driving. It's going to adjust it when you tell it to. So in a lot of ways, Dynamics is a little bit smarter, but it's also 5 times the money. I mean, it's a $6,000 option on a new car. It's about $15,000 to try and adapt it to a car that didn't have it. So IQS smokes it when it comes to trying to add it to a car that never had it, and that's why IQS is doing so well.
Can you have both?
No, so IQS will just turn up and down a dynamic system. A dynamic system can be turned up and down.
Got it.
So you wouldn't be gaining an advantage by doing that. They do the same thing in different ways. One's driver control, one's computer for the most part.
Dude, honestly, I'm pumped to try that IQS on this bad boy. That's sweet.
You're gonna love it once you use it. Nobody understands until they actually drive it how cool it is. Go for it there, Chase.
I got a live one. We got Adrian Medina on the air. What's going on, brother? Where are you at? What are you driving, and what's your question?
I'm from Yuma, Arizona. I drive a 2019 Maverick X3 4-seater. The only thing is we're looking at getting a belt thermostat. And I know Evo has the dash, there's that has theirs, and Razorback. What's the three I was looking at? Just looking to see what your personal opinion about those three.
So we run a Razorback gauge in our pre-runner, and it always works fine. I have had Razorback gauges that seem to run the digital gauge will go like 000 or 9099 900 degrees for no reason sometimes. They've always been really good about warranting it, sending another one. And once I got one that never had the problem, it's never had a problem since. I think that's the same as Weller's. I'm not sure what Evo is selling though.
Evo's is different. Evo's is actually in the ECU. They're using basically like buds.
Oh, okay.
Where they're actually doing it in the gauge on the heads-up display.
Okay,
So
now
not
where are they
in-
getting the sensor from then? There's an additional sensor?
I don't believe so. I believe it's part of the car. There's something in there that they're reading the temperature.
Okay,
I
so
didn't see all the details, but I do know it's more of it's a flash they do directly to the ECU so that you can see that information on the dash.
well, that would be my first go-to. I mean, with the way you described it, I would rather see you
all
run that
integrated.
system. Yeah, because that's going to be accurate. It's not going to have any failures. It's going to work every time.
That's only Can-Am, I believe.
Okay, well, then yours works. I think he's got an RS.
Okay.
Yeah, so talk to Evo. That would be my first suggestion. After that, then I'd do that Razorback.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Hey, send us a shirt size and a color. That way Chase can do his job.
Stay out of the heat out there in Yuma, my friend.
I know. That shit sucks.
Hey, man.
Dude,
You guys can't see it, but Steve's in the background actually practicing his dance. Yeah, getting ready for that car dance. Challenge
Coming
accepted.
for you, J-Hop.
Anybody got any questions for George? You guys don't get him rarely on this.
well, when we went to pick this up, I do have a comment. When we went to pick this up, when we were passing through Blythe, 124 degrees.
Oh, man.
That's how much the ambient was. Can you believe it?
I live in Arizona, and I still think that's too hot.
I know. At least it was in California, right? They can't blame Arizona.
Right. It's
120
wet heat over there.
124 degrees. And then we went to the beach. It was 75.
A lady by the name of Brooke _Lynn _Demon said, "Hey, I like that Can-Am in the background. That's awesome, Brooke."
That's Brooklyn.
Oh.
Yep, I tried to get her to go
Thanks,
live
Chase.
with us, but she wasn't having it. So, Brooke,
So Chase, check.
I didn't
Chase,
went over his head and his hat.
Amazing.
Chase, did you see this
more
right here?
importantly, there's somebody in here, Jamie Jackson. I feel what you're putting out, girl. Go live with us. Let me get you a T-shirt.
Did you see
Come
this,
on.
Chase? She's got it all custom made right here.
That is pretty sweet. George, we're going to have to get you one.
Hey, if you guys don't have any
Unicorn.
questions, you guys
Tacos.
got about one more minute to throw some out. We're probably going to move on and maybe go dancing.
I got something. And I was there, George, at the last time you raced Worlds. And I would compare this to being attacked by a shark. But last time you were attacked by the shark, you had somebody in the car with you, or you had somebody in the water with you. Now you're going to go back out there in the RS1.
I was by myself last time.
You were by yourself?
I was in a two-seater, but I was by myself,
Well,
yeah.
with that being said, how is it dealing with those same demons? What have you done to prepare for this? And how are you feeling right now with everything being so close?
Well, first of all, I think that's a really good question. I don't know that I feel any demons. I don't know that my body is completely ready to do this, so I'm kind of going on willpower and the hype, because all of these people in the industry are supporting me to go do this. I didn't even plan on racing the UTV World Championship this year, but I think it's super cool because we're going to be able to do it with all the support of all these people like Justin and Travis Olinger, the guys at KMC Wheels, EFX Tires, and obviously Craig Scanlon for letting me borrow this RS1. I think it's fantastic. So I think I'm using that more as a motivation to be able to go out there and do it. So honestly, one of the main things that I'm looking forward to is tech and registration so that we can all hang out together. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing for me. And then once I finish, it's just going to be awesome to be able to shake everybody's hand. And I definitely want to say thank you to the Race Safely guys, David Nebres, because I want to go shake his hand because he helped save my life last year, as well as Brett Carpenter. So I'm looking forward to it, just to get reunited with everybody.
It's going to be a really bitchin' like coming home party for you, basically.
I think so too. Yeah.
Back to racing.
Yeah, I think so too. So I don't know. I'm kind of unsure about it, but I think we'll have fun.
Cool. Hey, I think you got Brooke trying to sign in too.
I'm trying to find her on here. I don't see her. I'm going to try to tune her in one more time, but you are getting a lot of support on here.
Thanks,
George.
guys.
Lake Life Chivy, our boy. You got this.
Thanks,
George.
Cody. Appreciate it, man. So I think it'll be cool, man. I'm really, really excited about it. And like I said, I didn't even know if I was going to do it, but then after seeing everybody's, how pumped everybody was on it, I was like, man, we just got to go out there and hang out. It'll be fun.
It's going to be pretty badass. Also, hey, if you guys don't know anything about the World Championships this year, they're going to be held in Havasu, so it's quite the town. Going to be able to support all the racers that come in there and get a little rowdy. And
I definitely
go for it.
We got Brooke on the line. Brooklyn, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing awesome. We've been working on your car here.
Yeah,
Well,
how do you like seeing it completely torn down?
Looks amazing.
Well, we're about done. I think we're about a race rack away from this thing going testing next week. So we'll get a little bit of time in it before you come out and do a test session.
Awesome. I'm super excited. Thank you guys so much for all the support and everything.
So, you know what's really more important than that is tell us how badly you're going to beat all the boys.
Oh yeah.
And what are you racing this year, Brooklyn? For everyone else who's not familiar with your race schedule.
Maybe the next race is going to be Jagged X BITD. And then definitely I'm racing Worlds. And I usually race the DP4 off-road series. And that is our car. But the next race will probably be Jagged X or UTV Worlds.
What class are you racing at UTV Worlds? And if you see this RS1 going a little slow on the course, take it easy on him. He's a
like
little
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
What was that just passed by me?
He's a little shy out there, just go around him with a lot of space. 6 foot rule, remember, social distancing on the track.
I can do that. I'm racing UTV Rally and UTV Worlds.
Awesome.
That means you're going to be racing against Matt. Make sure you do not take it easy on Matt. Maybe please dent the bumper.
Be nice.
We will each pay you $100 bills to get Matt's bumper.
Where's Chase getting the $100 bills from?
That is at least, yeah, come on.
That was your bet.
You gotta spot him.
No, I am not.
Hey,
No
Justin,
way.
I need
No
money.
spotting.
Come on, Justin.
Not happening. Hey, Brooke, we're excited to work on your car. We're excited to get it tested. Thanks for dropping it off the other day. It was great to meet you, Dad. And thanks for calling in, too. So if you got anyone who's watching this, make sure you follow Brooke.
Thank you guys so much.
All right. You have a good one.
That's awesome, man. Matt, you're screwed, bud.
Yeah, I think so.
You're going down.
Hey, we got
Matt.
any more questions we can hit before we sign off?
I don't have
No, we're
anything
good.
else coming in
I
right now.
have a question.
What do you got?
How do you feel about all the UTV industry coming together to support this little cause that we came up with?
No, it sucks. Why would anybody do that?
I know, right? I still can't get over how awesome it is.
Yeah, I mean everybody's really signed on, but that's really what the industry's about. And you've been a beneficiary of how cool everybody can be, and everybody looks out for everybody. We made 3 phone calls and we had 10 different things that are going on this car to help George. So you guys support him, follow everything that he's doing, documenting this car coming back and him coming back to racing.
It'll be super cool, yeah. So we have a little show, podcast. It's called At the Dirt Life Show. So follow that on Instagram. And yeah, it'll be pretty cool because we're going to have a bunch more videos and stuff going up to the UTV World Championship. And hopefully if you're out to the UTV World Championship, you can come and hang out and come on our video and blog.
Question here from Hunt Visuals, and I know both you boys could answer this very well. Justin with lots of experience, but still definitely both of us being all racers here. Any tips for new UTV racers?
I think you're going to have to see, just follow this little series because there's going to be a lot of tips that come out just out of the woodwork. But my main tip is know that it's going to cost quite a bit of money and you're going to have to put in a lot of dedication in the garage. I know that most people are putting in an extra probably 40-hour work week just to get ready for races. So the wife might not be too happy.
Yeah, maybe clear that through the wife before you really get deep into it. Also be ready for some disappointment before there's going to be a lot of success.
Absolutely. But you can always, if you have good friends, you can always lean on them as well. And
Until you burn them out.
Yeah, park next to them at the races, have some fun with them. But like Justin just mentioned, it's a sweet, sweet industry to get into. The camaraderie and stuff is top notch. So we can't wait to see you at the races, bud.
Awesome. George, let's walk over this way. It looks like the guys have a little, kind of working a little hard in the background behind us. It's probably something that we should show everybody.
Hey, Diversified Fab, I got some great business endeavors for you. Just let me know how you want to invest your money. I got you covered too. We got another question here. Seawick 87, best 4-seater, Can-Am or Pro XP? Georgie?
What?
Best 4-seater, Can-Am or Pro XP?
I would say Can-Am.
Can-Am?
No, I don't know. I don't race 4-seaters, so I don't know.
What are the guys doing? I think they're on someone's car that dared them. What? Look at that.
Oh yeah, hold on. I'm pretty sure I got someone live for you here, Stevie.
I think with that, we're out of here.
Hold on.
That's a good one to sign off on.
Dang, dude, you're going wet.
Hey guys.
Hold on, we got a live one here. Hold on, Steve, turn down the music. I got someone who wants to talk to you.
Chase.
I can hear you now. What's going on, Jay?
Nicely done, Steve.
He's got to take a deep breath. You see him taking a deep breath? It's all sly.
I'm joking, man. It's hard to do that stuff.
I don't know if you know this about Steve, but please don't ever tell him not to do anything because it's kind of his thing to just do what you say not to do.
I knew that when I said it, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Right on, man.
Hey, thanks for being a good sport.
Since we got your car dirty, we're going to send you a shirt.
He's gonna pick it up, so we'll just give it to him.
So we'll make sure that your shirt is in the car. Make sure you let us know what color and size you want.
Thanks, man. Really appreciate that.
See you then, brother.
Hey, and with that, I think we're gonna sign off. We can't really top it.
Yeah, we'll take it away. man.
Awesome, dude.
If you guys want to buy anything, go ahead and visit our website, shopcampus.com. Or if you have any questions, call into the shop at 623-217-4959.